Animals that outsmart humans. Humans like to think we're the smartest creatures on Earth. We build cities, launch rockets, and carry tiny supercomputers in our pockets. But out in the wild, intelligence doesn't always look like technology. Sometimes it looks like a bird dropping nuts in traffic, a dolphin using tools, or an octopus escaping a locked aquarium tank in the middle of the night. Again and again, animals have surprised scientists and embarrassed humans by solving problems, planning ahead, and even tricking us. Today, we're looking at animals that have outsmarted humans, proving that brains in the wild come in many different forms. And some of these stories sound almost unbelievable. The octopus that escaped its tank. In an aquarium in New Zealand, workers kept noticing something strange. Fish in a nearby tank were disappearing overnight. There were no signs of forced entry, no broken glass, no human interference. Eventually, security cameras revealed the truth. The culprit was an octopus named Octopus. Every night, the octopus would squeeze out of its tank, crawl across the floor, slip into another tank to hunt fish, and then return to its own tank before morning. No one taught it how to do this. It figured out the entire escape plan on its own. Octopuses are famous for their intelligence. They can open jars, solve puzzles, and remember solutions. Their brains are incredibly complex, especially for an invertebrate. But what makes this story wild isn't just problem-solving. It's planning. The octopus didn't just react to the environment. It understood the layout, executed a plan, and covered its tracks. Basically, a tiny underwater mastermind. 2. Crows that beat human puzzles. If there were a bird version of Einstein, it might look like a crow. Researchers studying the New Caledonian crow designed a puzzle that many humans struggle to solve. The task required multiple steps. First, pull a string, then use a short stick to retrieve a longer stick. Then use the longer stick to reach food inside a tube. It was a 3-step problem. Many animals gave up, but the crow figured it out. Not by accident. The bird carefully analyzed the situation, used tools in sequence, and completed the puzzle in the correct order. Some crows even bend wires into hooks to retrieve food, something that requires understanding of shape and function. Scientists say crow intelligence rivals that of great apes, which means the next time you see a crow staring at you, it might actually be thinking harder than you think. 3. Dolphins using tools. Tool use used to be considered something only humans could do. Then scientists began observing bottlenose dolphins in the ocean near Australia. And what they saw changed everything. Some dolphins were placing sponges on their snouts before searching the sea floor for food. At first, researchers didn't understand why. Then the answer became clear. The ocean floor is full of sharp rocks and stinging creatures. The sponge acted like protective armor, allowing dolphins to dig for hidden fish without getting injured. Even more interesting, young dolphins learned this behavior from their mothers. It was culture, not instinct. Not random. A skill passed down through generations, which means dolphins aren't just intelligent, they're capable of teaching traditions. 4. The raccoon escape artists. If you've ever tried to keep a raccoon out of something, good luck. The raccoon is basically nature's burglar. Researchers once gave raccoons a set of complex locks to test their intelligence. The locks included buttons, levers, latches, and sliding doors. Most animals would eventually give up. The raccoons didn't. They studied the locks and opened them. But here's the crazy part. Months later, researchers tested the same raccoons again. They remembered exactly how to unlock the puzzle, even after long periods of time. This shows strong memory and problem-solving skills. So when a raccoon gets into a raccoon-proof trash can, it's not luck, it's strategy. 5. Chimpanzees outsmarting humans. When it comes to raw intelligence, few animals compete with the chimpanzee. In one famous memory test, researchers placed numbers on a screen. For a brief moment, the numbers appeared in order. Then they disappeared. The chimpanzee had to remember the positions and tap them in the correct sequence. Sounds simple. Except humans tried the same test, and the chimpanzee beat them. By a lot. The chimp processed the visual information faster and remembered it more accurately. Scientists believe chimps may have superior short-term visual memory compared to humans, which means in certain mental tasks, chimpanzees might actually be smarter than us. 6. Elephants that recognize humans. Elephants don't just remember locations. They remember people. Researchers studying the African elephant discovered something incredible. Elephants could recognize different human groups based on clothing, scent, and voice. Some humans posed a threat. Others didn't. The elephants treated them differently. They became defensive around dangerous groups but remained calm around harmless ones. This means elephants can categorize humans, evaluate risk, and change behavior accordingly. That's an advanced level of intelligence. It's not just memory. It's judgment. 7. The parrot that understood language. One of the most famous intelligent animals in history was a parrot named Alex. Alex was an African gray parrot studied for decades by scientists. He could identify colors, shapes, numbers, and materials. But Alex did more than repeat words. He understood them. When shown two objects, Alex could answer questions like, what color is bigger? How many? What shape? He even invented new words when he didn't know the answer. At one point, Alex looked in a mirror and asked, what color? He was asking about himself. Self-awareness in animals is extremely rare. Yet Alex demonstrated reasoning that stunned researchers. Conclusion. For a long time, humans believed intelligence belonged only to us. But the animal kingdom keeps proving otherwise. Octopuses plan escapes. Crows engineer tools. Dolphins teach their children. Raccoons crack locks. Chimpanzees outperform humans in memory tests. Elephants judge danger. Parrots understand language. Different brains, different strategies, but the same powerful force behind them all, intelligence. So the next time you look at an animal, remember, you might not just be looking at a creature. You might be looking at a mind working in ways we're only beginning to understand. And out in the wild, that mind might already be one step ahead of us.